Welcome to Fouts Boxing Theory. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford and how they're going to come together as Canelo Alvarez has a very explosive style. See him getting on the line here, jumping on the line, sacrificing all of his defense here. Now, the most important thing that we're going to be discussing in this video is how likely Crawford is to get hit by this first shot and how likely Canelo is to get hit by the second or the third shots. Again, he sacrifices his position quite often to get on the line, and it winds up, kind of leaving him in a position where he's going to be interacting with shots like this from Terence Crawford, who's very quick. Look at how quickly this goes from touching his glove here, boom, boom, to countering here. And then again, once you're on the line with Crawford, he's just blasting you. He has so many shots he's letting go. He's so fast. So we're going to be taking a look again. Again, this is very important when we get to the other part of this film study, is that Crawford takes a lot of unnecessary shots. And here he is. We've clearly seen him being able to counter, but right around the guard. Again, this is not a good defense from Terence Crawford. Errol Spence jumps and pendulums onto his line and allows him, right, to just throw this punch at him. He doesn't move. He doesn't brace for it, right? He kind of has his hands up and, But this is one of those interesting patterns that kind of happens with Terence Crawford quite a bit. Now, little fake stepping jab here, gets control of him. And this is one of his biggest sources of offense when he's a southpaw. Terence Crawford, and again, I know this is the closed stance. Errol Spence is a southpaw. Canelo Alvarez is not, blah, blah, blah. I know. But what we want to be talking about is Terence Crawford's fighting out of southpaw, how good and sharp he is. Because I do expect the beginning of the fight for Terence Crawford to start out as a southpaw, controlling Canelo with his right hand because he's a right-handed fighter. But very big stepping jab here, covers a lot of distance, really deep. Very explosive. But it's a main source of his offense as we take a look at the film study. Now, jumping on the line, and again, right at the beginning of the fight, this is very important because Crawford's getting smacked over the top. He can't just take these shots, all night from Canelo Alvarez, right? Well, we're going to talk about that at the end. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Is Crawford going to be able to make it and find time to find the counters at the end of those shots, or is he going to get hit and dropped and hurt by those shots? And this is going to be a big part of the fight because both of those things are going to happen. Now, when we take a look at this clip, here's Terence Crawford getting pushed around the ring here by Errol Spence by a bunch of, basic 1-1-2 stuff, right? And he's not countering, okay? Getting pushed around, pivot on the front foot while the ropes are cut off. He could easily get hit with the hook around the guard. We've already seen him get hit around the guard. But this is a very common pattern for Crawford too, not organizing the ring around him very well. Now, in the first round, the ring gets cut off on Crawford, pushes him in the corner, and he lands his first counter left hand on Spence. Really whacks him, I think. Again, if Errol Spence gets on the line, or if Canelo Alvarez gets on the line and stays, here he is staying, he will get hit. Terence Crawford is really fast with his hands, and we have more Canelo clips to look at as well. But again, with the jab, control, pushing Crawford off the line, and then again, at the beginning of every round, here it is, 248. Okay, this round, just like at the beginning of the last round. This is exactly what Canelo does as well. He goes out there at the beginning of every round, and just starts trying to whack you. He just rested for a minute. Now he's going to go out there, use his energy, and start putting pressure on you. Start trying to hurt you. Control. No counters. Allows him to get on the line, and stay here. No offense from Crawford, right? I don't think he can afford to let Canelo throw very many unanswered punches at him. Okay, and again, pushing him around the ring. Now, he disrupts him a little bit, right? Notice Spence always takes a break right before. He'll take a break, and then he'll try to recharge his 1-1-2 because he can't just go 1-1-1-1-1-1-1-2. But he gets caught here in between, and I think this is something that can happen to Canelo as well when they start playing tag with their jabs and their rear hands, and I think that that's going to be something a little bit more common with this fight. Now, again, pushing him around, this is going to be one of those moves that Canelo Alvarez has access to quite often. And this is extremely dangerous because here's the thing. It doesn't matter if you have a chin and you get hit right here. They get you in the temple. They get you. There's so many, like, think Terry Norris, right? When Terry Norris fought Julian Jackson, popping off the ropes like that. Out. You don't get a second shot. And Crawford gives this punch up a lot. He puts himself in this position a lot against, luckily it was only against Errol Spence. Getting coil, control, boom. Excellent counter. Now again, off of that very similar 1-1-2, bop, 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 and then he's throwing this shot here. Okay, and then again, he doesn't make it out of the position. He doesn't make it to safety. Again, very, very, very similar to the timings of Canelo Alvarez. Jab game. Okay, and again, that's one of the things that Crawford, again, is really, really, really good at. He loves to fight over the jab. He usually has a better jab than his opponent. And again, I want to point out, start of the third round, comes out, doesn't care. He doesn't care what you're doing. He's just going to get on the line and throw his 1-1-2. And every single time it works. Every single round. Boom. And again, right around the guard, Crawford just giving that punch up, not seeing it coming, not having a trap there. Right? Very, very bad boxing, I want to say. Now, pendulum's on the line, throws a 1-2, bop, bop. Right? Crawford starts countering after the shot. Again, the post-punch defense from Canelo Alvarez is going to be so incredibly important. Now, throws a shot, boom, 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 holds Errol Spence's head down. This is not going to work against Crawford or against Canelo, but Crawford will do things like this where he'll control you, he'll grab, he'll hold, he'll spoil. He doesn't duck below the waist as much, but he'll do other stuff. He will do that stuff on occasion, like 2 or 3 times a round when he runs out of space. It's nothing egregious. Right? But it's noticeable. You're like, oh shit, he got him in the corner. Oh, she got him. And then it's like, oh, he's just going to grab him this time. Okay, cool. Now, take a look at the round timer. Right? We've got Errol Spence jumping onto Crawford's line. Right? And here he is getting disrupted here. Right? Trying to go and Crawford's disrupting him. Canelo Alvarez is very easily disrupted as well with his 1-1-2. He does this weird pendulum thing where he'll take his leg and he'll like really try to jump it around the guard. Okay, a lot of punches right there for him. But it'll be really weird and slow, and if you hit him in between, it's easy to disrupt him. Now look at him walking him into that shot here. He tries to come in. Boom, tries to come in again. All those shots were landing. Very, very clean shots there. But at this range here, Crawford is incredibly dangerous with his snapping, his striking is just super fast. And then, where are we at the end of it? Right here. After all that good work, after all those great shots, Crawford still finds a way to sit on the line and eat Errol Spence's hardest punch. And it's a big problem. That's a big problem against somebody like Canelo Alvarez, who might actually hurt you. Now, again, same move over and over and over again. Terence Crawford doesn't know how to block punches. He doesn't have great defense. He's, he's pretty slick. He's fast. He's athletic. More importantly, he's usually going to hit you before you hit him. Here he is, hitting him here. Got in the way of that jab, counter. Get in the way of that jab there, counter. Now, very interesting that he counters with the rear hand after parrying, bop, and then he gets into it. It's not the way that you want to do it. It's not the most efficient way to do it, but pretty good move. He cracks him really hard. And, Errol Spence or Canelo Alvarez, again, if he's getting caught with if he's throwing a shot like that, there's going to be opportunities for Crawford to be able to interact with those shots from Canelo and then counter him after. But this just goes to show you how quickly he's going from defense with this hand back to offense. Boom, boom. There's just not very much time to sit in front of Terence Crawford and do nothing. And again, 1-1-2 pendulum, right back on the line, the same move over and over again. He tries to get going again and gets disrupted by a counter here on the inside. And look at him almost falling over. Boom. countering him on the inside. Now, I thought this one was particularly important because he's going to do that move, bop, and he's going to throw this punch here. But look at Crawford timing him here. He's trying to time him on the inside with this shot here, right? He still gets whacked. Very important to point out the fact that he still gets whacked right there. But again, still fighting on the inside even after getting hit. Okay, again, he has a good chin for sure. Okay, but you can't just rely on your chin. Now, Errol Spence coming out, trying to fight, trying to go, right? It's the beginning of the round. He's trying to get his 1-1-2 off, and Crawford is just dumping punches over the top of the 1-1-2, right? He knows it's coming. Boom. He knows where his head's going to be. He knows. And again, beautiful, beautiful, incredibly difficult move to do right there. Crawford's favorite game, the jab counter game, countering there with the hook, right? But there's just not very much space. How do you get a 1-1-2 off on a guy when he's throwing a hook like that after, right? Now, again, counter, right? Taking control of the line and not letting him get his moves off. Okay, all very, very, very important. As the fight goes on, the offense from that guy becomes lower and lower. Jab, Crawford goes first. He's parrying that jab. Counter again. He can't even get his rear hand off before Crawford transitions, boom, boom, to offense. And again, power shots, right? Landing huge, huge punches. Whack to the body. Now, this right here, again, Crawford is very bad with his hands and his blocking of punches. This is like one of those shots like Caleb Plant got dropped with, like that knocked out Sergey Kovalev, right? And if Terence Crawford is going to get smacked by clean, hard, sharp shots that you're not going to see coming on this close on the inside, because it could be either hand right here. It could be either shot. You know, it could be a right hook here, or it could be a left hand, right? Oh! And look at his feet. He could go down here very easily, getting caught with a hard shot like that from someone like Canelo, coming off against the ropes. Now, he times him here. Look at him bouncing against the ropes. All the timing is perfect for Spence. And he gets timed in between. Boom. He even still hits Crawford, and he goes down. That's what a sharpshooter Terence Crawford is. He's timing him here in between that shot with a right uppercut and dropping Errol Spence and still hitting him. You know, so this is going to be a tough fight. Obviously, I think Canelo hits harder than 1-1, hits harder than Errol Spence. But all those 1-1, 2, is it even landing? No, he's just swinging his arm, hitting him on the forearms here with his forearm, and then no post-punch defense. Okay, very, very, very important. Again, the post-punch defense is going to be so important, but again, he just sits there. Okay, no post-punch defense. He's going to be easy to hit. Now, real quick, if you guys want to watch these fights, they are on. Well, we haven't watched this one yet. We're going to be watching Billy Joe versus Canelo. I think we're going to start with that one and then watch the John Ryder fight after. Here he is chasing him with some shots. Again, Canelo Alvarez. Boom. And how long does it take Crawford to get back with the counter? Look at how long that took him, right? And Crawford is coming back with them. Now, this is probably his most significant source of offense against the southpaw, leaping in. He takes a big step, gets a little bit of. It looks like he's giving up lead foot dominance to land this left hook to the liver, but look at this big hole here. Look at how exposed he is when he jumps on the line here. He's landing. It's good. It's not worthless. If he hurts him, then it doesn't matter what the post-punch defense is, right? Because he could knock him out. But the more important thing is those kinds of things, because this is the way that Canelo always jumps on the line, right? And there's always that, because if he starts getting countered, then he won't have those opportunities available anyway. As we saw, those started drying up against Errol Spence as the fight went on. Those Crawford knew where those holes were, so he would counter them earlier and earlier. Now, here's the thing, right? And again, countering with the hook. Again, that very, very, very important punch there. Boom. Throwing that hook. Bop. Counter. Bop. Counter. No post-punch defense. But yeah, I think that as the fight goes on, Crawford will continue to get better and better, and Canelo always fades. People think that um, he's got a gas tank or this or that, but like Canelo rests in the fight so much. That's why it was like in the round when Bivol hurt him, right? He could have stopped Canelo, but he didn't put any pressure on him. He let him sit on the ropes and play. And Crawford is much less likely to do that because he's also trying to counter you before you punch and after you punch. And if he's always looking for those holes to counter you, right? Again, he gave a lot of space to Spence, moving around, circling, stepping around, which he will give early to Crawford to Spence as well. But once he starts getting turned on, and again, God, this sounds so stupid, because warm-up rounds are fake. Your opponent is allowed to knock you out at any time in the fight. But once he gets going, he's gonna find that space, that equilibrium for Canelo, where Canelo gets tired. And if Canelo gets tired in front of Crawford, he's gonna get smacked around, right? Just like the ending sequence of Crawford versus Spence, he smacks him around a bunch. Now, all that to say, yada 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 yada, Crawford as a southpaw takes a little bit of time to warm up his counterpunching. He does not have that same problem when he's an orthodox fighter. At the beginning of every orthodox fight, anybody throws a jab at him, he immediately counters it over the top with a right hand immediately. Every single time Crawford turns to an orthodox fighter after a long fight, as soon as he turns orthodox, the guy throws a jab at him, and he slip counters it with a right hand over the top and hurts them. Every single time. And Canelo's most prevalent source of offense is a stepping jab or the stepping two, right? The 1-1-2 where he's trying to get the pendulum and get control and then go. Oof! But again, Canelo doesn't have any other tricks. Canelo doesn't have any like boxing. He's not going to be stepping around, circling and setting traps. He's all about timing and being explosive, right? So I think this is going to be a really, really tough fight for Canelo. I think, again, in my opinion, he's behind the 8 ball here. And the crazy thing is, who is it that we just watched? Oh, well, Errol Spence. How many times is that guy ever going to get to fight the pound-for-pound best fighter of his generation? One time, right? He got his ass whooped. He's out. He's done. Crawford's not rematching any of those guys. He's not. There's no reason to fight them anymore. But Canelo Alvarez somehow got to get experience fighting Floyd Mayweather. Then he got to fight Gennady Golovkin. And now he's getting to fight Terence Crawford. This is his third pound-for-pound, mega clash. His third one. And, it would have been great for him if he could have gotten into the ring with Floyd Mayweather again. Obviously, it was not close enough, right? And they probably would have robbed him with that one judge giving the fight to Canelo. Holy shit. But, this is Canelo's third opportunity to prove that he's an all-time great fighter. Nobody remembers Miguel Cotto anymore. Who? Miguel who? Right? When do you ever hear anybody say that guy's name about that generation? Do you know who beat him? Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, Canelo Alvarez. I think that's it, right? Oh, and then Margachito, right? But that guy beat the brakes off everybody. He fucked every. I mean, I also thought that he lost to Shane Mosley when I first watched it, but I was rooting for Shane. Probably got to go back and watch it. But live, I picked Shane to beat him. But also, I picked everyone to beat Miguel Cotto. I picked Judah to beat Miguel Cotto. Anyway, but Judah's my guy. He should have. Anyway. Yeah, we're going to watch some film study on Patreon. We're going to watch the Canelo Alvarez, Billy Joe Saunders fight. The Errol Spence fight is already up. Also, we got Bilal versus Jack Della Maddalena on there. It's going up in a few minutes. Patreon is like $10 a month. Discord is $13 a month if you get a 1 year membership. Comes to be like $160. There's a community of people who talk about boxing the way that I do, who train boxing the way that I teach it, in the ways that make sense to make it so that you'll understand all of this stuff. Okay. If you want to learn how to fight, if you want to be part of the community, again, it's $160 a year. There's like 70 people in there. There's some pro fighters. There's people aspiring to be pros. There's people I've been training and coaching for years that can help you, on top of you posting your own video in there to get better. But more importantly, when you join, there's over 100 drills to work through and train to get better. And they will all help you make you a better fighter, and they're all cohesive. They all go together. Doing them makes you a better fighter at all of them, and the overall strategy kind of comes together. And it's my system to teach the perfect fighter. Okay, you get good at all the drills, and I think you could beat anybody in the world. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, check it out. It's dope.